Now, to what's going on in the Gulf, there are some substantial problems in the Gulf of Mexico, and frankly, I think one of the largest problems has already come to rest at the foot of the Obama administration. Sarah Palin was out this weekend saying all this money that, words to the effect of, that all that because the President Obama had taken money from the oil industry and Democrats had taken money from the oil industry, that's why their response has been so slow. Now, the fact of the matter is that the federal government doesn't have the resources to deal with a spill like this, which, by the way, is why they shouldn't have allowed this kind of drilling in the first place. And neither does the oil industry, which is why this kind of drilling should not have been allowed in the first place. And let's keep in mind that this drilling was put into place. All of this started during the Bush administration. Another disaster that Obama inherited from the Bush administration. And I guarantee you, had this started during the Clinton administration and we were a year and a half, 2 years into the George W. Bush administration, they would be out there every single day saying this is all Clinton's fault. And frankly, I think Obama should be saying this is all Bush's fault, but he doesn't do that kind of thing. And that, frankly, has hurt him. They need to be doing that more. They need to be talking about these issues, this disaster that they inherited more. Ken Salazar is down in the Gulf. And at the same time, I've been saying for some time that instead of dispersants, we should be spraying coagulants. There's a guy who has a coagulant, something that causes the oil to lump up together. The stuff is non-toxic. It's derived from vegetables. It coagulates oil. It can then be extracted from the oil and reused. Here's a clip, Reuters clip of this.
When you sprinkle that pregnates himself, that's when you encapsulate him and absorb all the hydrocarbons in a small compound, and they won't release them back to water. And then after you take this, you can recycle it, take them back to the refinery, recycle them and everything. There's substance in here. This is nothing change to molecular structure or anything.
The problem with this product is that because it coagulates the oil, it forms giant balls of oil, and chunks of oil, clumps of oil floating on the surface of the water where people can take pictures of them. And it looks bad both for the administration and for BP. And frankly, as I've been saying for weeks, increasingly their interests are congruent. This is Ken Salazar is down in the Gulf right now. He's hopped on a plane and gotten down there. This is certainly not the first time he's been down there. The administration has been very active in this. Every single day since the oil spill, President Obama has made some sort of speech or proclamation or reference to this. And yet, unlike George W. Bush in the first week of Katrina, but still, the Republicans are saying, well, this is all Democrats because they get oil. The point that Sarah Palin forgot to point out was that 71% of the contributions that the oil industry gives to politicians go to Republicans instead of Democrats. But nonetheless, she's making that point. Here's Ken Salazar down in the Gulf.
That BP has been unable to stop this well from leaking and to stop the pollution from spreading. We are 33 days into this effort, and deadline after deadline has been missed. Is basically how he wrapped that thing up. And this is a full-blown disaster now. Bobby Jindal wanted to build sand buffers. He wanted to build basically a sand break, sand islands off the coast 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and he was asking the Army Corps of Engineers for permission to do it because they have control over those waters. And frankly, I think that the president, I may be wrong on this, but I believe that the president, by executive order and declaration of emergency, could have said the Corps doesn't need to do the environmental impact studies. We know that there's oil coming ashore. Let's build these islands right now of sand and protect these marshlands. Because once the oil gets into the grasses, where all these fish all these birds are nesting right now, and the grasslands, the grass itself absorbs oil, it's a disaster that can't be remediated. And Jindal is making the political most of the fact that the Army Corps of Engineers has been procrastinating on this because by law they've got to go through a whole series of environmental studies. And, as I said, I think that this is and Jindal is
might be one of the guys who's running against Obama in 2012, and this may well be the issue.